Very good morning to all of you. Today I want to start session 2 of module 4. Title of the module is Bearing Capacity of Shallow Foundation. For this bearing capacity of shallow foundation, course outcome is ability to determine bearing capacity of soil and achieve proficiency in proportioning shallow isolated and combined footings for uniform bearing pressure. This is the course outcome of module 4. Title of subject is Applied Geotechnical Engineering and subject code is 18 CV62 in 6th semester of Civil Engineering departments. Today's contents are these contents are prepared for session 2. Terzky bearing capacity equation, factor of safety, procedure for calculation of safe bearing capacity of soil, that is SBC, limitation of Terzky bearing capacity equations or analysis, Brinch-Hanson's analysis or equations, effect of groundwater table on bearing capacity. So these are the contents are prepared for today's session 2, and each sessions I want to explain in details. Okay, let us see bearing capacity by Terzky's equations. Okay, for any type of soils, after conducting the experiments and after determining shear strength parameters and after getting the unit weight of the soils, we know the equations by Terzky's bearing capacity factors to determine safe bearing capacity. So there are different equations are given for different size or shape of footings. Based on size and shape of footing, ultimate bearing capacity equations are derived or given different. Okay, let us see first equation for continuous footings or strip footings. QU equal to 1.3 times CNC plus gamma DF NQ plus 0.5 times B gamma N gamma. This is the for continuous footings equations. If suppose your footing is square footings, so then you use the equations ultimate bearing capacity QU equal to 1.3 times CNC plus gamma DF NQ plus 0.4 times B gamma N gamma. This equation for square footings. If the footing is circular footings, shape of footing is circular or ring footings, so then use the ultimate bearing capacity equations, that is QU equal to 1.3 times CNC plus gamma DF into NQ plus 0.3 times B gamma N gamma. This is equation 3. This equation is given for circular footings. And all of you remember in your minds, so that last parameters is just only changed to remember, that is for steps 0.5, for continuous that is square footings 0.4, for circular 0.3, that is third parameters. That's you should be remember. Okay, in the above three equations are used only for without water tables. So these equations are used without water tables. Okay, remember this important concepts, where QU is ultimate bearing capacity per unit area in kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square. And C is the cohesion of soil, that is shear strength parameters. Cohesion of soil in kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square. DF is nothing but the depth of footings in meters. Gamma is unit weight of soil in kilonewton per cubic meter or ton per cubic meters. Okay. And B is the width of footing in meters. D is the diameter of footing in meters. This we are taking for circulars. Okay. And NC, NQ, N gamma are the bearing capacity factors for cohesion, surcharge and unit weight of material with respect to below the base of the footing obtained from tables. And these NC, NQ, N gamma are obtained from the tables based on the angle of internal friction value. Okay. Here C, Q, gamma refers as a cohesion, surcharge, unit weights concepts. So now you remember these three equations with the different type of footings. You calculate ultimate bearing capacity. Next concept is factor of safety. Okay. What do you mean by factor of safety? Okay. This is also important definitions to calculate bearing capacity of the given soil at the different site conditions. We are considering safety factors are different. In determining the allowable bearing capacity, the usual practice is to divide the net ultimate bearing capacity by a suitable safety factors. Okay. In determining the allowable bearing capacity, the usual practice is to divide the net ultimate bearing capacity by a suitable safety factor. A safety factor of 2 to 3 is generally used. A safety factor of 2 to 3 is generally used. The lower values may be adapted on areas of very uniform soil conditions. The lower values may be adapted on areas of very uniform soil condition, but normally a safety factor of 3 is recommended. Okay, normally we are considering 3 safety factor is recommended. Low safety factors of the orders of 1.5 may be adapted in designing temporary structures. Low safety factors of the orders of 1.5 may be adapted in designing temporary structures where effect of shear deformation or settlement is not of any serious consequence. Okay, if there is no shear deformations and due to effect of shear deformation or settlements, low safety factor we are considering. The use of safety factor with the net ultimate bearing capacity only protects the foundation from breaking. Okay, the use of safety factor with the net ultimate bearing capacity only protects the foundation from breaking into the soil, but can net ensure the settlement of the various portions of the substructures within the tolerable limits. So for that purpose, safety factor considerings. Okay, let us see procedure for calculation of shape bearing capacity of soils. Okay, you follow the procedures, then we are getting the shape bearing capacity. Here, step 1, calculate ultimate bearing capacity, that is QU in kilonewton per meter square for continuous, square or circular footings given the earlier equations. Okay, in ton per meter square or kilonewton per meter square. That is the first step. So in second step, calculate net ultimate bearing capacity, that is QNF, is given by the relation ultimate bearing capacity minus overburden pressure, that is overburden pressure is gamma into dF. So that gamma is the unit weight of soil, dF is the depth of the vortex. Means we are calculating net ultimate bearing capacity equal to QU minus gamma into dF, and it's expressed in terms of kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square. Calculate net shape bearing capacity, that is QNF denoted. Calculate net shape bearing capacity is given by the relation QNU by factor of safety, that is net ultimate bearing capacity divided by factor of safety. So we are getting in kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square unit we are getting, that is net shape bearing capacity. And in step 4, calculate shape bearing capacity, that is SBC, is given by the relation net shape bearing capacity plus overburden pressure, that is QS equal to QNS plus gamma into dF, or QS equal to QNU by factor of safety plus gamma into dF in kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square. So this is the clear pictures for calculation of shape bearing capacity of soil procedure. You follow these steps, we are getting the shape bearing capacity for the given data. All of you remember these steps. And in second case, first case is steps is given. If local shear failure, earlier is general shear failure equation is given. If the local shear failure, that is phi is less than or equal to 28 degree, first condition based on the phi value, or second condition based on SPT, N test results based on SPT experiment, N value, N is greater than equal to 30, general shear failures based on SPT general shear failure. If N is less than or equal to 5, we are considering local shear failures. So based on these conditions, you decide whether the general shear failure or local shear failure is this. And after knowing phi and N value, you calculate local shear failure C value, that is CLS equal to 2/3 of C, and angle of internal friction for local shear, that is phi LS equal to 2/3 of phi, where C and phi values obtained from laboratory, that is shear strength parameters values obtained from laboratory. There are 4 shear methods are used to conduct experiments and determine C and phi values. And step 2, remaining steps are same above phase 1 for calculation of SBC of soil in kilonewton per meter square or ton per meter square, etc. Next, after knowing the general shear failure, local shear failure, now calculate Terzaghi's bearing capacity factors. Calculate Terzaghi's bearing capacity factors from table or empirical equations. Okay, sometimes table is not getting, so then use these empirical equations and calculate Terzaghi's bearing capacity factors. Let us see. NQ is given by the equations tan square of 45 plus 5 by 2 into E raised to pi into tan phi. NQ equal to tan square of 45 plus 5 by 2 into E to the power of pi tan phi. Next, you calculate NC is given by the empirical equation. NC equal to NQ minus 1 times cot phi. NC equal to NQ minus 1 times cot phi. This is equation 2. Now you calculate N gamma. N gamma equal to 1.8 times nq minus 1 into tan phi. N gamma equal to 1.8 times nq minus 1 into tan phi. So these relation you use to calculate Terzaghi's bearing capacity factors by empirical equations. Now let us see what are the limitations of Terzaghi's bearing capacity equations or analysis. There are some limitations are there to calculate bearing capacity equations or analysis by Terzaghi. First limitation is, as the soil compresses, phi changes. As the soil compresses, phi changes. Slight downward movement of footing may not develop fully the plastic zones. So this is the first limitations. Okay, as the soil compresses, angle of internal friction is changes. So the slight downward movement of footing may not develop fully the plastic zones. So this is the first limitations. In second limitations, error due to passive pressure of three components which is small and on the safe sides. Error due to passive pressure of three components which is small and on the safe sides. So here passive pressure is the most important concept. Passive pressure means retaining walls move away from the backfill. We are defining as a passive pressure. Retaining wall is moving away from the backfill, that is passive pressures. Third limitation is error due to overburden pressure increases. Error due to overburden pressure increases with the depth of foundation, and hence the theory is suitable for shallow foundation only. Third error is due to overburden pressure, that is sigma equal to gamma into df, that is overburden pressure sigma naught. If the overburden pressure is increases with the depth of foundation, and hence the theory is suitable for only shallow foundations. So these are the limitations of Terzaghi's bearing capacity equation or analysis. So sometimes in university question paper, these also asked in question papers. Okay, limitations of Terzaghi's analysis. Next, let us see Brinch-Hansen analysis or equations. Brinch-Hansen. So this second person, he has also used ultimate bearing capacity equations. He has derived. Okay, Brinch-Hansen's analysis or equations. How he has used and what is that equations? Let us see. QE equal to CNC SC DC IC GC BC plus gamma DF NQ SQ DQ IQ GQ BQ plus 0.5 times B gamma N gamma S gamma D gamma I gamma G gamma B gamma. This is very fantastic equations. Now you remember only QE equal to CNC SC DIGB. Here you remember DIGB, that is DC IC GC BC. Here is based on the Q, DQ IQ GQ BQ. Based on gamma you write D gamma I gamma G gamma B gamma. This is very fantastic. This is the logic you remembers. Okay, and earlier these parameters same. Q equal to CNC SC plus gamma DF NQ plus 0.5 times gamma B and gamma. So this is earlier we have already seen, but here extra parameters are DIGB, DIGB, DIGB. These four parameters you should be remembers with respect to cohesion, surcharge and unit weight. You write the value where S equal to shape factor, D equal to depth factor, I equal to inclination factor, G equal to ground factor, B equal to base factor. So these are the factors. Okay, S is shape factor, D is depth factor, I is inclination factor, G is ground factor, B is base factor, gamma is density of soil below the foundation level. If for phi is 0 or underground conditions, for phi is 0 or underground condition, the above equation is modification or modified to QE equal to 5.14 times C into 1 plus SC dash plus DC dash minus IC dash minus BC dash minus GC dash plus gamma DF. So this is the slight change from equation 1. If the soil is phi is 0, okay, that is purely soft soil or cohesive soil, use this equation where the various factors with dashes are for phi equal to 0, that is undrained conditions. Hansen considered the bearing capacity as a plane strain P. Brinch-Hansen considered the bearing capacity as a plane strain P. If phi is founded by trial tests, its corresponding value for the plane in case can be computed from the expression phi equal to 1.1 times phi. So this is equation 3. Okay. Next topic is effect of water table on bearing capacity. Earlier there is no water tables, we have discussed how to calculate bearing capacity. But if the water table is present, below the ground level or at the ground surface or at a greater depth of water table is available, then how to determine bearing capacity? So let us see. See this diagram, this is the footings of width B and depth DF from the ground surface. Load is acting, that is Q, and this distance is depth of water tables. Okay, here three conditions: water table below ground level, water table below base of the footing, and water table at the ground surface. There are three conditions are there to determine ultimate bearing capacity. So here this below ground surface we are considering this is ZW1, below footing depth we are considering this is ZW, and at a greater depth we are considering as a B equal to depth of B. So this conditions you remember, figure you remember, then you calculate ultimate bearing capacity by using reduction factors. Let us see how to calculate. The buoyant unit weight of soil is effective in resisting the shear failure, and hence the position of the water table establish the unit weight of the soil to be used in equation 1 to 3. Okay. And in second step, if the water table is at a depth of B or more below the footing level shown above figure, the most unit weight is used in calculating the bearing capacity. So these are the conditions you should be remembered. In third condition, if the water table is at the base of the footing, in the term 0.5 times B gamma N gamma, gamma should be replaced by submerged unit, that is gamma B, buoyant unit weight. It may be noted also that for moist soil, gamma B is about half of gamma moist. So this condition you should be remembered. It means then that the increment of the ultimate bearing capacity due to the weight of the soil below the footing level should be multiplied by a water table factor, that is RW1 to account for the change of effective unit weights. So we are considering water reduction factor RW1. Next condition is a similar situation exists for the increment of the ultimate bearing capacity. A similar situations exist for the increment of the ultimate bearing capacity due to the surcharge, and a factor RW dash is used with the term QNQ. If the water table is located at a depth D, are likely to rise to the base of footing or above, then the value of W dash shall be taken as 0.5. So this condition you should remember. The following expression for RW2 is given and RW1 is given. RW2 equal to 0.5 times 1 plus ZW2 by B. You remember this equation to calculate RW1 and RW2. And RW1 is given by the equation 0.5 times 1 plus ZW1 by DF. Here B, D, ZW1, ZW2 is referred from this figure. ZW1 is below the ground surface, ZW2 is below the base of the footings, then DF is depth of the footing, B is the width of the footing. So here based on the conditions you use these conditions in the water table, you use the equations and calculate RW2 water reduction factors, then calculate bearing capacity of the given soil material with water table in different conditions. These are the references are referred for module 4 of session 2. Okay, different authors, textbooks, high schools, journal papers, etc. are referred. Thank you one and all. Next class I will be continue next sessions.